Welcome to my place. What do you do when you feel like giving up? First and foremost, it's okay to acknowledge this. It's okay to feel like giving up. When you're tired of things that are going on in your life, that they're not going the right way, if you feel overwhelmed by your life right now, it's okay to feel like giving up. We've all been there. At some point in our life, we've been at a crossroads where we have felt like the path in front of us is just so daunting that it's a better option to just give up. I'm encouraging you today, don't give up, because believe it or not, during those moments of despair, we find that we have strength that we really weren't even aware of. Strength that gives us that resilience to get through that feeling of despair, that feeling of giving up. And one good thing is that we recognize our feelings, and in turn, now we can find the steps to move forward and to get us out of this feeling of despair, this feeling of giving up, the feeling of just being tired of what's going on. And after we have acknowledged these feelings, we can ask God to help us not to stay in these feelings. We can ask God for help. We can ask God, what steps do we take to get out of this feeling of despair, of this feeling of giving up? In Psalm 37, 23 and 24, David lets us know that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not utterly be cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. When we ask God for help, God will give us the steps to take in order to get out of this feeling of despair, of this feeling of being tired, and he'll help us so we don't remain there. As a witness, God has helped me when I was feeling despair, when I was feeling that I just couldn't go on anymore, when I was going through different things in my life and feeling like, God, if you don't help me, I won't be able to take another step. He did help me, and he did give me a practice to get through this. First of all, we want to identify how we got in this place where we feel like giving up. And he has given me 4 practices when and if this does happen to me. And I hope that by me giving these practices to you, it'll encourage you and it'll help you when you're in a state of feeling like giving up, when you're in a state of despair. Now, if you see me looking down, I'm checking my notes because I don't want to miss anything. These are the practices that God has given me in order to help me when I am in a state where I'm feeling like it's getting kind of tough and it's kind of hard to go on, and I just feel like throwing up my hands and giving up. And the first one is to examine our thoughts. That's one of the things that we can start with. Now, according to some research that I've done, there are approximately 60,000 thoughts that flood through our minds throughout the day. Many different thoughts, ranging from mundane thoughts to thoughts of what we need to do, like our tasks that we need to do, and thoughts that may be deep thoughts. So there's a lot of thoughts running through our minds every day. And the Word of God encourages us to take our thoughts captive. Take every thought captive. Take down those imaginations and those things that exalt itself against the knowledge of God. But with 60,000 thoughts, some of them we know that they're going to try to slip in and penetrate. But what I want you to concentrate is those thoughts that are lingering thoughts, those thoughts that stay there, those thoughts that keep coming back. Those, especially the negative thoughts, thoughts that are telling you the opposite of what you are, thoughts that'll say that you're not going to amount to anything, thoughts that'll say you're never going to make it, or thoughts that say you're not worth it. Those thoughts, we need to specifically take those thoughts captive. When those thoughts come in through our mind, we have the authority then to take those thoughts and say, no, that's not what the Word of God says about me. So thought, you have to go. And we dismiss those thoughts that way. So that's one of the things that we could start with, is to examine our thoughts and know what we're thinking. Sometimes those are thoughts that we linger on and invite them in to make us want to give up. The second thing, number 2, is what are we watching? Be careful what you look at. Be careful what comes across your eyes, what you look at on TV, on the computer, on your phone. Watch what you're watching. Be careful what you're watching, because that's a gate. We can't unsee things, so we have to be careful what we're gazing on. And I know a lot of things will pass through on TV, or they're passed through on your phone, and you'll say, wow, where did that come from? A commercial or something like that just kind of makes you feel a little bit, I really wish I wouldn't have seen that. But then we got to take those things that come in through our eyes and dismiss those things. Look at something else. Change the scenery. So it's very important what we watch. Number 3 is our ears. What do we hear? What are we listening to? What are we taking in? Who are we listening to? It's very important what music we're listening to, what people we're listening to, what we're allowing to get into our ear gate. So we can take those 3 assessments so far. What our thoughts are, what we're seeing, and what we're hearing. And sometimes we can backtrack and say, okay, I began to feel this way when I was listening to this, or when I had this thought, or when I saw this thing. And we can examine that and then begin to give that to God. We can begin to ask God to move that. We can begin to think on other things, see other things, think on good things, see good things, and hear good things. Number 4, and some of you may have an issue with this, but we have to be careful who we hang around. I remember, even as I was growing up, my mom and dad would look at who I was hanging around with, because I know my dad used to say things like, you are who you hang around with. You have to have something in common with that person. I remember seeing someone and wondering, how come that person they just seem to be so opposite. How come that person is hanging around with that person? And I would watch that even with my children as they're growing up, watching who they were associating with and who they were hanging with, because it made a difference. And a lot of times you say, oh, now I see why those 2 were always together. Although one may be so sweet and kind, and you see the other one may be, a little bit more boisterous, but once you really get to know both of them and see them together, you could see where there was that common connection. So we have to be careful who we're hanging around with. And even when it comes to, unfortunately, our family members, it could be not good for us to be around them or hanging around them. It's okay, we can love them. We want to be around people who add to us and who we add to them. We want to be around people that encourage us, and we encourage them. We want to be around people that don't speak negative things all the time. We want to be around people that are positive and that are going forward, and you're going forward in the same path. I did a video on relationship, and I spoke a little bit about having friendships and what that means to have a friendship. I'll link that video in the description below. But getting back to not giving up, I believe that everything that we need is inside of us. He predestined our lives. He doesn't want us to give up. We'll get right to the very spot where we're about to have a breakthrough, and we give up. That's how I felt sometimes, even concerning this channel. Many of you know that if you have your own channel, it's a lot of hard work. Sometimes you don't want to get on. You want to be able to talk to people and to be able to share and encourage. And sometimes I need encouragement to be able to get on and keep going, because I believe that this is what the Lord has given me to do, to come to be an encouragement to you. But sometimes I've felt like giving up. Oh, this is not going anywhere. Nobody's listening. But I then have to go back to the place where I believe that He's told me to do this. He's predestined this for me. And that as long as I just keep doing it to His glory, that I'll be able to keep going and not give up. So I'm encouraging you as well. Don't give up. Don't give up. Sometimes I feel like that movie when Cher says, snap out of it. You know, I have to say something corny at least one time in my videos. Because, yeah, I'm a little corny. I know. But seriously, don't give up. Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. We don't want to faint. We don't want to give up. You don't want to faint. You don't want to give up. You deserve your heart's desire. You deserve for your dreams to be fulfilled. You deserve for your goals to be met. You deserve it. And also, I want to encourage you that during those times that you feel like giving up, it doesn't define you. As I stated, we all have those crossroads in our lives. Sometimes it's a sign for us to try harder. Sometimes it's for us to refocus back in on God and what God has for us. So it's not about us avoiding the feeling of giving up. It's about us for when we feel like giving up, we stand up one more time. Be encouraged. Never give up. Get around people who will encourage you. Listen to this video when you feel like giving up. Thank you for stopping by today, and thank you for listening. Please like the video and please subscribe to my channel. As I said, it's been hard work, and sometimes I have felt like giving up, but you don't give up on me. You keep coming back and you keep watching me, and I appreciate it. And for those of you that are listening for the first time and you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and that'll let you know when I've uploaded a new video. I know I've given you a lot to do. Also, share this video, because when you share, you encourage someone else. Have a wonderful day. Bye.